Hey you guys, so this has been a real big experiment for me, and finally I was able to accomplish it, and I'm so proud of myself. So I was able to accomplish how to do a full sew-in on a full lace wig. Now as you can see, this is the braid pattern. This is optional. I mean, I did this braid pattern, but you can definitely do another one. Starting out, these are the materials that you'll need: just some banana clips, some scissors, an old toothbrush, a brush, some sewing thread. This is actual sewing thread, and some sewing needles. This is a weaving needle, and then some weaving thread for your hair. So first I'm going to go ahead and start off with the application of my wig, just making sure it's exactly where I want and is lining up everywhere accurately. And then I'm going to go ahead and begin with taking my older toothbrush and just brushing down my baby hairs. This is a toothbrush I actually use for my hair on the regular. That's why it's dirty. And then I'm going to start by parting my hair in the middle from ear to ear, as you see right here. Now with doing this, you're going to if you are a person that wears your hair in half up, half down styles, you will want to do this slightly in front of where you normally would do your part for the half up, half down style, just so that the sewing thread does not show. And right now I'm going to go ahead and mark off two sections in the front, basically the one on the left side and the one on the right side, with my part in the middle that I want to keep in the middle as well. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and take out the ponytail on one side and actually part off some hair with my comb. And as you can see, basically my wig is a little bit long. It's a little bit too big for my head, so the ear to ear is actually coming down a little bit past my hairline. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and mark this section of the hair off. Now right here you can actually see how much extra lace it is. So I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors very carefully and just cutting off that extra bit of lace hair in the front that I don't need, so I can have an actual clean place to start sewing at. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well, just making sure everything's lined up. Take your time with this and make sure you're pulling it as tight as possible from one side to the other side to make sure that it is definitely the accurate size of your head. And this is just the extra bit of lace I cut off. Now you guys remember when I did the first part from ear to ear, I'm actually going to go back in with my weaving thread and my weaving needle that's actually made for hair, and I'm going to go ahead and just sew that down in that middle from the ear to ear. This helps give a really good structure and keep the actual wig in place fully, with this being like the base stitching. This is the main stitching of the hair. So after I finish stitching from ear to ear in that middle part, I'm just going to go ahead and tie that off and cut that extra thread. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that sewing weave thread and the sewing needle thread, and I'm actually going to go ahead and start sewing from the front of the ear to the back of the ear where I'm meeting up with that middle stitch. So this is actually a whole new stitch. I'm not going to connect all of these stitches together because I just felt like it would be more accurate getting it this way, and I feel like I could pull the hair down a little bit more tighter doing it this way. And then after completing the stitching on this side, I just moved to the other side as well, doing the same thing, starting the stitching from the beginning of the front of the ear, reaching to the back all the way where that middle stitch is. So this is, like I said, 3 separate stitchings. And then after finishing all my stitchings, I'm going to go ahead and take my brush and comb and just comb my hair out and basically make sure that the part is still intact, everything is still lined up accurately, and then I can begin with the next process. So the next process is to ensure that the middle part doesn't move and the wig is actually a little bit more secure. So you guys see where my middle part is. I'm actually going to measure 1 centimeter to the left, and I'm going to actually mark a part there, and then I'm going to mark 1 centimeter to the right of my part and actually do a part there as well, and then pull that into like a banana clip. Now I never wear my parts, you know, this offset a little bit, so I'm actually going to go ahead and stitch this outer parts of the middle part just to ensure that the middle part does not move at all. Now with this being in the front of your hair, I'm actually going to go ahead and use a sewing needle for clothes and a sewing thread for clothes as well, just because it's a smaller, you know, a smaller thread, because weaving thread for hair is actually way thicker. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch this up. I actually have a braid there, so I'm just stitching that right onto the braid and just keeping it really close, tight, and neat, just because this is in the front. But most likely with this thread, you definitely won't be able to see anything. Now when you get to the middle, this is the tricky part, because I don't want to keep stitching across, so I'm actually going to take my needle under the lace and pull it back out on the other side of that part, and then just go ahead and repeatedly stitch that part down as well. So now that I've completed stitching that, I just want to go back over the sewing pattern of where I exactly sewed so you guys aren't confused. So I started on the one side, and I started from the beginning of the ear to the back of where the middle stitch is, and then I started alongside my part and actually stitched that back, and then I went underneath and stitched that to the other side of the part, and then I actually went along and sewed it on the other side, as well as doing that one long stitch from ear to ear. This style is pretty versatile. I really like it. It's something new for me, but it's really been working. I haven't had any complications, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See ya. Mwah.